Alright, this video is going to help you learn how to utilize Microsoft Excel in order to be able to create graphs in this class. When we do some simulations this year or have you do a lab exercise at home, it's a nice way to utilize your iPad to make graphs and then easily upload them into Canvas to be able to complete an assignment. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure you have Microsoft Excel loaded onto your iPad. You can see up here in the upper left hand corner, it has the green X and says Excel. If you do not have it uploaded yet, go to self-service icon. Start typing in Microsoft Excel. As you can see up here, I started typing in Microsoft. You'll notice that Microsoft Excel pop up with the X and make sure to install it. Once it is installed, then you'll click on it and ready to enter data. So we're going to work from a blank workbook almost always. Now here, the data, the A column is where you'll put the X data. The X data in a lab is the variable that you manipulated. In this case, I kind of manipulated because I was the one that cut out the poster board. I cut out different size piece of poster board. So in this case, the manipulated variable or the independent variable, independent goes in the basement if you want to remember. The independent variable is the variable that the scientist is manipulating or changing. For this lab, that is area. So the X data will always go in the A column. The Y data, B, will always go into the next column next to it. In this case, it's mass. The bigger piece of poster board we have, the more mass it has. So it's dependent upon the size of the poster board. Okay, so to enter data, you need to double click into the box. So double click, sometimes you only see a single click and that's where it doesn't pull up. So double click, and then also now your keyboard should pop up. Go to your numbers, and I'm going to type in 3, 6, 8, 12, whatever your areas are, which is not even close to what you will have. Your numbers are going to be a bunch bigger. And then the mass of it, let's say that it's, 10, 25, 36, 50. Okay? Once you got all of your data entered, now we want to make a graph of that data. So now I want to go back to the upper left-hand corner and click on the 3. You'll notice there's 2 green dots. That will allow you to, in essence, to highlight all of the data. So on the bottom right-hand corner dot, click and drag down, and once it's all highlighted, release your finger, and it should be highlighted. Once all the data is highlighted, we're ready to make the graph. So at the very top, you'll notice the tabs, home, insert, draw, formulas, data, so on and so forth. We want to hit insert, the second tab. And on the very far right, you'll notice that there's a chart icon. We want to click the chart icon, and we want to go to the recommended. Now, what I notice right off the bat is it gives me a scatter plot, but it shows me the data connected line to line. I don't want that. So I'm going to go back to the back arrow. Instead of hitting recommended, I want to do an XY scatter. And you'll notice I want to show the data as data points. So the top left-hand corner, the one where we don't see any lines, that's the one I want to select. So I'm going to hit that. And when I do, there I see the data plotted with the X and Y variables. There's my data plotted on this chart. Now, this chart is not fully finished. I want this graph to be able to have axis labels, a linear trend line, and an equational line so we can finish the laboratory. So to do that, if you notice on right below the home and insert buttons, there's where it says types of graph, layouts of graphs, and add chart elements. If I go to the middle one where it says layouts, if I click on that, I can click a specific type of scatter plot that I really want to utilize. The one that I want is usually typically towards the very bottom, so when I scroll all the way down, on the left-hand column, the second one from the bottom, you'll notice that there's one that shows a trend line, which also includes the equation of the line, the axis titles for both the X and Y, and the title of the graph. I want to click that graph. That's the graph we'll typically most often utilize. And now we can see the best fit line, and the best fit line is an average line, where as many points are above as below the line. That's giving us the overall general relationship. The further my dots are from that trend line, the worse and worse my data is. That's what the R-squared value gives you. The closer the R-squared value below the equation is to 1, the closer and closer your data is to a perfect linear relationship. Okay? Now, to change the title and the axis labels, all you gotta do is double click. So I go to the chart title, I'll double click. I want to move that cursor bar, double click again. I want to move that cursor bar all the way to the end. It's a little bit cumbersome. And then I'm going to give this graph a title. Make sure it's descriptive. So for me, I'm going to do mass of a regular poster board. Okay, do the same thing for the axis. Down by the x-axis, I'll double click. I'll try to move the cursor all the way over to the left, or excuse me, the right. I'll delete. We put the area on the x-axis. Okay, now we should always include units on the axis labels if we have any. You'll notice in our graphing exercise that the area was in square centimeters. So I'm going to go to the parentheses and put my units in parentheses. cm. Now what it doesn't give you is allow you to superscript anything. So if you go to your symbols icon right here, between 5 and 6 there's a little symbol that's like this upside down V. That it's called a caret symbol. It's a power key. So if I click that power key, that'll be in essence me putting centimeters to a superscript, which in this case is 2. That shows me how to do square centimeters. So area in square centimeters. Go to the y-axis, which is mass. Always double click. Okay, we're going to put here, it's going to be mass. And we measured the mass in this lab in grams. So again, parentheses, G for grams. And now my graph is pretty much finished. Now you're going to want to make note of the equation of the line, which is y equals 4.462, x minus 2.0994. You're going to write that equation line down so that you can then interpolate the data. So now what you have is you have 2 pieces of a regular shaped poster board that you know the mass of them for. There's a couple different ways then. Your job is to figure out the area of that poster board from using this graph. One way is by using graphical analysis. What you could do is find on the vertical axis, the y-axis, you could find where the mass of the first piece, which is C, you could look at where its mass is. Let's say it's 20, it's not. And when I go over from 20 and drop down, I could estimate that the area of this piece would be about 5 square centimeters. A more exact way is to use the equation of the line. The mass is on the y-axis. So I would plug the mass of the irregular piece poster board. I would plug that into the equation for y, and then I would solve that equation for x. When I solve it for x, that will then give me the exact area in a much more precise measurement than just simply going over from the y value, hitting the linear line and dropping down and seeing roughly about where that area of that poster board is. Okay? So once you made your graph, how do you upload this information now into Canvas? Well, you'll notice the very upper right-hand corner, there's that little symbol right below where mine shows 55 and the Wi-Fi symbol. There's a little arrow symbol. You need to click that arrow symbol, and then it'll show save or send a copy. You can always save this just in case you make a mistake. You can always take a screenshot if you would like. But a way you could easily also do this is send a copy. When you click send a copy, it says email, but what we want to do is select send with another app. When we hit select send with another app, different things will pop up, and what you would want to utilize is the student Canvas icon that you see there. You'll click that. You will find your course, which I won't be able to do with mine, but you would select course, and then you would find Honors Chemistry, select that, and then down in the assignment you could find the assignment tab for this lab, which in this case is mass and area graphing exercise. Click on that and then submit, and it'll automatically then upload a copy of that file into Canvas for you. So that's how we utilize Microsoft Excel and how we upload a graph or data from Excel into Canvas. Again, if you'd rather save a copy or take a picture, a screenshot, and attach it, you can do that. Again, I'm pretty flexible with how you give me the data. But for this exercise, I want to see both the completed page 1 of the exercise and also a picture of your completed graph with all of the labels properly identified in your equation real line. Okay? And that'll complete this exercise. Again, it's mainly just a quick, easy way of learning how to use Excel and how we can utilize it to how we can get graphs uploaded into Canvas. Thanks for listening.